I used to spend all of my time learning new pieces, thinking that's how I was going to get better. But in reality, that's exactly why I wasn't improving. And so today, I'm going to show you one small change that I made that helped my playing finally take off. What's up, classical guitarists? So let's dive straight into it. Most classical guitarists tend to focus almost entirely on their rep or their pieces when they're practicing. And this can be for a variety of reasons, but I found that it's simply because we're so excited to play the music. And oftentimes we think that the shortest way to get to the point of playing that song is to start learning it and then just learn as you go. But in reality, what this is doing, it's very much a trap, because it's causing you to practice using repetition without having built the foundational skills needed to really make any progress. And so what it does is it leads to a lot of tension, it leads to bad technique, and it leads to frustration. And frustration is the #1 reason classical guitarists stop playing. And so I want to show you an example of what it sounds like when you haven't taken the time to build those foundational skills to play a piece the way you want to play it. You're going to hear two examples. The first one is with improper technique, and the second one is with proper technique. Take a listen. Okay, so now that you heard the bad example, let's address the issues that you saw, or heard, maybe both. The first one is in the left hand. I was playing on the flats of my fingers instead of the tips. So I was playing like this, which not only limits my mobility, makes me slower, makes it more difficult to play, and then on top of it, it can potentially lead to injury because of the angle of your wrist. The second issue was in the right hand. And it was the similar issue. My wrist was nearly resting on the guitar rather than sitting at the 90-degree angles that it's supposed to be at. And this is going to do the same thing. It's going to slow down your right hand, make it more difficult to play, and potentially hurt you down the road. So, how do we fix it? How do we address it? And the answer is pretty simple. It's 3 steps. You build, you apply, and then you enjoy. So, how do we build? First things first, you want to look at the piece you're playing and identify what is happening in that piece so that you can know what to work on. This one's pretty straightforward. It's a scale. Okay, so now I know I want to get better at scales because I want to get better at this piece. So what am I going to do? I am going to apply a 5 to 10 minute warm-up of scales to my routine every day. And the way you can do this, I always recommend choosing a scale that has a little bit of a more complex fingering so that you have more to think about when you're doing it, but you can choose any scale you want, any scale that you're comfortable with. In this case, in this example, I'm going to use natural minor. And when you're playing that scale and warming up, I want you to think about these basic foundational concepts because that is why you're doing it. So you're going to play the scale and you're going to ask yourself, am I on the tips of my fingers, right? And if the answer is yes, great. You can move on. You can then look at the right hand and ask yourself that same question. Is my right hand touching the guitar? Or is that at a 90-degree angle the way it's supposed to be? If the answer is yes, awesome. Keep going. Then you want to go back to your left hand and see that and check to see if in the process of fixing your right hand, did your left hand revert and go back to playing on the flat of the fingers? If the answer is yes, then fix it. So we're gonna consciously play on our fingertips again, check our 90-degree angle, apply, play them both together, and work your way through the entire scale, right? 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1. And then you're going to do that every time you sit down to practice. Because what is happening is you are teaching your hand how to play a scale. It's like when you learn to walk or when you learn to run. No matter where you're running, you're always going to know how to run. If you're running through your neighborhood one day and then running through a mountain trail another, the concept's the same. You're still going to know how to run, and you're going to be able to apply it to whichever trail you're walking on. Same with scales. No matter what the scale is, if you have taught yourself the foundational skills of how to play a scale, you will be able to apply those skills no matter what hiking trail you find yourself on. So in this case, I've taken the time to build my scales, build my foundation. I'm going to apply it to my piece. Right? Tips of my fingers, right hands at the right angle, super slowly. Then you speed it up a little bit once you have both of those concepts down. Beautiful. And then again, a little faster. A little faster. And then finally you're playing in time. Sorry, I can't help myself. But that's the general idea. You want to build your foundation, you want to apply the skills, and then you can enjoy the music and really just make it what you want. So what do you think? Do you think classical guitarists spend too much time focusing on solely their rep? Because that's definitely something I was doing for a long time. And it wasn't until I started utilizing build, apply, enjoy that I started to really enjoy my practice sessions. It became so much more fun. I was learning rep faster. It became easier. And so I really invite you to try applying these concepts to your next practice session. Comment down below if there's anything that you've been holding off on practicing for a while and how you plan to apply these things. If you liked what you heard, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I'm a small YouTube channel, and so I really appreciate any support you have to give. I love and appreciate all of you for being here. Thanks for coming. Hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time.